Hello, and thank you for joining today's webinar, A Partnership in Precision. First, before we get into today's topic, I wanted to share a little bit about AIM. AIM is the Industry Association for Automatic Identification and Data Capture Technologies. We serve as a hub for quality resources covering all types of barcode, RFID, and mobile computing information. We also foster new auto ID innovations that stimulate market growth. We encourage you to get involved. If you would like additional information, you can reach out to us at info@aimglobal.org. And then before we get into today's presentation, I'd like to quickly go over AIM's antitrust policy. It is the policy of AIM to conduct its operations in strict compliance with the antitrust laws. No AIM activity shall create even the appearance of a violation of the letter or spirit of the antitrust laws. And then just a few other housekeeping notes. All registrants are muted upon entering the webinar, but we still want you to participate. To send a question, select the Q&A icon at the bottom of the screen. We'll get to as many questions as possible at the end of the presentation, and a recording of the webinar will be available in the coming days and sent to those that have registered. Okay, so just a quick rundown of today's agenda. We'll start off with brief introductions from today's speakers, John Fitzsimmons with Metalcraft and Leslie Caesar with Tigo. They'll be sharing first the challenge faced toll tracking in high stakes industries, then present the solution, visibility that drives real impact. To wrap everything up, we'll get into the biggest takeaways, and then as I mentioned previously, we will end with Q&A. And again, you can submit the questions through the Q&A application at the bottom of the screen. And with that, I'll hand things over to you, John.
Hey, thanks, Bethany. Really appreciate that. My name is John Fitzsimmons. I'm our business development director here at Metalcraft. We're the tag manufacturer partnering with Tigo in this opportunity. We've been working with durable identification products for the past 75 years. That would be like barcodes, customizable, durable tags. And then as a partner of AIM over the past 25 years, we've really gotten into the RFID space with durable RFID tags. And a little bit about my role at Metalcraft is that I develop leads for our sales team. I drive product development internally with our product team, and I work and manage with our partnerships. So one of those partners that you're going to get to meet today is Tigo. And I've known Caesar at Tigo for a little while now, and I know we mean business when we get working on offering a solution. So I'll let Caesar take it over from here.
Awesome. Thanks, John. Next slide. Thank you. As John said, I am Caesar. I am the Director of Project Development here at Tigo. My background is in Lean Six Sigma methodology as well as continuous improvement implementation. Well, here at Tigo, my team has the honor of serving our clients to adapt and reform their business with digital technology by empowering their teams with a real-time unified view of operations tied to business outcomes. And the way that we do this at Tigo, we are an end-to-end solution provider, and we let our customers know all the time, together with Tigo, we architect, we design, and we implement solutions that will help deliver for them one unified view of operational activity that is measured in real time that deliver real world results. Next slide, please. So the use case that we are going to be discussing today, as already articulated, this is a tool tracking use case for our aerospace MRO facility. Next slide, please. So the problem that was identified that we were able to have the privilege to tackle was we have this customer that has a facility that is over 80,000 square feet in size. They have, again, in a facility of this size, you can only imagine the amount of people, the amount of tools, carts, and other type of assets that are consistently moving across this facility. The main goal within this MRO facility is to refurbish, build, and disassemble and reassemble jet engines so that they could get to our customers safely and that we could have people flying in the sky safely as well. So the problem that this organization faces is that they were struggling with visibility of the actual tools that were required and necessary to ensure that they met the production schedule on time. And I want to be clear, these are not just your average tools of a socket and just a wrench. We are talking about large industrial mobile tools that can cost up to tens of thousands of dollars. And even worse, if these tools are not in the proper workstations, they have the capacity of potentially hindering production schedule, which also hinders the outcome of what the desire for their customer is, which is, again, to get engines refurbished and out that door on time. So the way that we identified this was, first, we tried to identify the problem. We tried to make sure that we were seeing what the challenge was. And the first challenge we identified is that they didn't have any visibility. They had a homegrown system that they utilized from their IT department to develop a tracker. This tracker consisted of the part of the name of the tool type, the serial number, and who the last person was with it and the location of that tool. All of this was done manually. And what we realized is that because the system was not upgraded, it was unable to integrate with other backend systems, it led to human error. That human error was due to lack of appreciation, not necessarily appreciation, excuse me, due to lack of trust of the homegrown system. So operators took matters to their own hands. They would write each other notes or create Excel documents to help keep account and track of the last location certain tools were located. So, for example, if I was working as an operator in gate 3 and John was operating gate 1, and I know that John, due to our homegrown system, has stated that he had the tool type that I specifically needed, tool 132. So since I look in that system and saying that's in gate 1 with John, I now will leave my workstation at gate 3, walk almost 2,000 square feet, if not further, to find if this tool, excuse me, is in John's workstation. Only to find that throughout that time of me searching for this tool, somebody else came and removed it and put it in a location that is unknown to both John and myself. What does that lead to? Inefficient use of labor. Instead of me working on assembling or disassembling an engine, I am spending countless minutes and potentially hours searching for a particular tool so that I can even start my job. This again rolls into unplanned downtime, lack of accountability of, again, where our stuff is, why it's not in certain locations, and frankly, the impact it has due to the lack of accountability and communication. This also impacts the production schedule. And we all know when your production schedule is impacted, you will have financial challenges. And the challenges that we identified on top of the loss of labor, it was the challenges of the customer literally charging our MRO facility for not having engines leave at the allotted time that they were supposed to. So once we kind of took a step back to identify what this problem was, who it was impacting, and the necessity of getting this rectified, we were able to partner with Metalcraft, give them some insights as it relates to the problem, and this is where they started kind of getting into what tool technology we would need in order for this to be an asset that is no longer hiding in the dark, but has transparent visibility to improve operations overall. And with that being said, John, I'm gonna pass it to you for the next slide.
Thanks, Caesar. Really appreciate that. Yeah, and we appreciate you guys bringing us in on this opportunity because this customer was completely in the dark. Their system was not modern at all. So as you brought us into this opportunity, we really do have a critical role to help you guys get this one portion of the solution. And that's where this partnership really began to thrive, is to understand that you guys really did a good job of identifying those problems, and that helped us on the tag side qualify everything that we needed to know to get this customer more than just a sticker. Now, these customers, they sometimes will see our RFID tags as just a little sticker on their big old assets, but at the end of the day, it's a crucial portion of the technology to be able to get a functioning and working tag that fits all the needs of this customer. So they did have a couple hurdles that we needed to understand how to jump over. And with what Caesar was talking about in his analysis of this company, it was an 80,000 square foot facility. So they needed some RFID tags that not only would be mounted onto metal, but could get some lengthy read range on it. So with some of our digging in on this, we determined that, understanding some of the environment as well. It's not necessarily the most weathering environment, to say the least, but we still wanted to offer a durable tag that would last the life of those tools, of those assets. So what we determined was we came up with our mount on metal long range RFID tag, and that did address both of those hurdles that the customer was looking at with that long range, the mount on metal necessity there, and that lifespan to fit onto those assets. So in getting that tag, and to understand too, another hurdle that we kind of looked at is it wasn't necessarily a huge opportunity. It was a couple hundred parts, a couple hundred pieces. But we understand with a partnership like with Tigo and with Caesar that it's more about just throwing the technology, throwing the tags at these people. They're looking for a solution for their Stone Age problem that they're in. And they really were in the dark on this opportunity. So what we want to do is make sure we are taking care of this customer because as we'll hear more about later, there's some scalability to be had throughout all of this company. But as far as the tag side goes, we really appreciated Caesar digging in to get all those details and help us get ahead of the game. So there wasn't this back and forth to understand what the customer actually needed. We were able to get the ideal tag that they needed in a timely manner. But yeah, as we understood too, the Tigo Hub technology was a good fit for this, and we wanted to make sure our tags fit into their solution. And as we talked about, it's all about that solution for the customer. And I know Caesar will probably want to talk a little bit about that solution.
Yeah, no, absolutely, John. And again, to your point, I truly appreciated the due diligence that your team took in ensuring that you guys provided us the proper product to make this use case really come to life. And going back to what you were saying, the Tigo Hub software that we designed, it highlighted all the different workflows and areas of operational opportunity that the customer was looking to address. And having a reliable tag that we were able to use. Again, I wanted to paint the picture. We're talking about an 80,000 square foot facility with thousands of carts that have hundreds of thousands of parts. There's metal everywhere, tools of various sizes, of different shapes that are being moved left and right throughout this place. That again, without them being in the proper locations and utilized for the proper functions, they were hindering the productivity of ensuring that good engines were leaving the door on time to the customer. So we ensured that we had the proper hardware combined with our software to partner properly to ensure that we provided the proper track and trace processes that were going to give again that real-time analytical data information to ensure that workflows were smooth, that they were understood, and that again, I have visibility of where my stuff is, and not just where it is, but how long it's been there and what it's doing there. So this again opened up opportunity for the leaders to look at their workflows and to identify how long should it take for an engine to go through a certain process based on the tool allocation that's available. Based on my tool inventory, I'm now able to even understand how productive we should be per shift because some of these tools have to come off the floor. They have to be retooled, if you will, so that they are recalibrated to be efficient and effective for the calibration of the engines that they are servicing. So all these things combined just opened up a brand new perspective for how this organization looked at their tool tracking problem. And in addition to that, it just gave them a form of trust. To John's point, this was a small use case that has now opened up an umbrella of opportunity for these guys to develop an understanding of where their stuff is, why they want to track it, and why it's important. And we can go to the next slide if you don't mind, please. So with all that being said, the key takeaways that I would love for all of you to kind of come away with if you're exploring solution providers, or if you're exploring tool tracking or asset tracking type of technologies, I would urge you to ensure that you understand the process and the problem first. As my great mentor, the great Dr. Miles Monroe would say, to do anything where purpose is not known or understood, abuse is inevitable. So meaning that you can start with technology, but if you don't understand the purpose of that technology, you're probably going to underutilize it. You're probably going to misuse it. And if you do not have a partner that is educated to not just give you a tag, give you some data and a solution, but actually give you an opportunity to learn your business, to grow through your processes, to really tackle those root cause issues that always pop up like weeds when you think you have it solved, right? So again, don't start with the technology. Start with the process. Start with the people. Start with the problem. And there, it will turn you to the proper technology that will give you the visibility needed for real intelligent decision making. You will no longer be reactive, but you'll be proactive. We will be able to respond to challenges because we have understanding of what's taking place. And going back to the use case that we just ran through with you guys, it was a small use case in theory. However, there was a 40% reduction in work stoppages due to the misplacement of tools. So you can only imagine how much more at risk this organization was at of having work stoppages for tools not being in their proper location. But now that they have the visibility, now that they have the data, now they have the accountability, they can be proactive. They could be responsive to their challenges and not allow themselves to be burdened by them each and every day. And lastly, I would say partnership matters. I truly appreciate the partnership that I've been able to grow with John and Middlecraft over the year and some change that we've been able to learn about each other and grow with each other, but also the partnership with your solution provider. We want to ensure that you guys are not just getting a technology that's being just stamped on you, but a technology that you can grow with, that you can scale with, that you can see opportunity that at this current moment is elusive until you have somebody that's in your building that can help illuminate that unified view of operations that we are talking about, that the collaboration between Tigo and Metacraft was able to talk about today. And with that said, John, if you have anything that you'd like to add on the partnership piece.
Absolutely, Caesar. It's been a pleasure working with you. And again, to understand, it's all about helping these customers understand their company. You
Yeah,
you don't know what you don't know. And when you start to open your eyes and bring the light in to see your own business and see that data, you understand that 40% is a huge number. That's
yes,
a lot of time. That's a lot of savings. And with a partnership like what we have here too, it really does help bring that light to the customers and bring the solution to the customer, and they'll begin to open their eyes up even more to other areas of opportunity where they do want to learn about that data in their company. So we really appreciate too the partnership and encourage that no matter the size of the opportunity, it's always about bringing light and bringing the solution to those customers.
absolutely. We are here to serve. Absolutely. Next slide. So questions or comments?
All right, well, thank you guys for that presentation. We're going to start getting into the questions and answers from our audience. If you guys have any questions, you can submit them through the Q&A application at the bottom of the screen. We'll go over some of the questions also that were submitted during registration. Our first question today is, what information is encoded on each tag and what size memory are you guys using?
Think I can take that one, Bethany. In understanding that what the information is that's encoded on it, that will depend on the customer and what they're looking to tag and track. In this case, it was the tool tracking in the aerospace MRO facility. So it's what those assets were. And as far as the memory goes on this particular tag, it was 128 bits of memory. So as far as the memory goes, that's where we were.
All right. And then our second question today, beyond tracking real-time location, what kind of insights or decisions did the customer gain once all that toll data lived in the Tigo platform solution?
That's a phenomenal question, and speaks to the heart that we were not, again, just trying to track the location of a thing, but there was some business analytics that came as a result. And the business analytics stem from a few things. One, the work processes that take place, the time of duration, so our WIP, if you will. There was an understanding now that we had created an opportunity for them to see the entire inventory by type, by section as relates to these tool categories. They were able to prioritize what gate would get what type of tool based on the production schedule to ensure that they set each shift up with the most effective and efficient way to finish their job. So they had the real-time location that gave them insight to how they can maximize their operations to meet that production schedule, if not even exceed it, while simultaneously ensuring that they had a consistent audit of everything on the ground. And this gave them, again, communication. If a tool was not in the right zone, there was now an alert that took place. There was now activity that was able to take place a lot faster as relates to getting somebody in that zone to figure out why is this tool not where it was supposed to be at. And that just, again, has improved their overall work efficiency on the ground. So they have the location, but we also have work efficiency that has improved significantly as well.
All right. And then our next question today is, what advice would you give to organizations that want to start improving operational visibility but feel overwhelmed by the technology options?
Mm. So this is one I think we often get more than not. So I think one struggle that most organizations have is that they know they have a problem, but they don't necessarily know how they should solve it. And not only that, sometimes there's a little fear and insecurity that comes into it, right? It's kind of like having somebody come in your house and trying to tell you how you should organize your pantry. You might not really feel too good about it at first, but it is important and essential to be in a position to learn something that you may not be so accustomed to. So really ensuring that you are identifying what are you trying to solve and what is the so what behind it. And that is when you're able to partner, I believe, with the proper organization that can walk you through the process steps of identifying not just the root cause of that problem, but the other avenues of approach that may be centralized within. Again, we went from a tool tracking issue to now scaling it beyond to carts, to parts, to the movement of people. So there is an understanding that your scalability is going to be necessary, but for you to start, make sure you understand what the problem is. Make sure that you understand how it's impacting the people on the floor, and don't allow what you don't know to hinder you from learning something that could be of true benefit in the future.
I would like to add to that too, Caesar, with understanding, especially with these forms of technology, not to get ahead of yourself because it is a phase. It's a phase by phase,
Yeah.
step by step process. As you can see with this opportunity, it's growing, but it wouldn't be growing the way that it is if it wouldn't start in one spot and then grow from there. We don't want to get way too far ahead of the game when we're opening into these brand new areas where there isn't any visibility. It's really a step by step process. And it's important to understand, let's identify one problem and let's solve that first. And then what else can we do? But let's make sure we identify one problem and solve that first.
100%.
All right, and I think that's the end of the questions that we have for today. Want to thank John and Caesar for joining me today for this webinar. If you guys have any additional information or questions that you would like to ask these two speakers, you can reach out through the information listed on the screen. If you have any questions for AIM, we have our information listed there as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.